Hello. Do you think politics in this country is so polarised that the quality of debate has completely disintegrated? And if so, how has that affected you, your friends, your family, and where on earth did it come from? And most importantly this hour, can we get to a place where we figure out how to make it better? Hassan in Slough in Berkshire, any ideas?
Hi, Sangeeta. I have some ideas, yes. I mean, I have been very, very disappointed with the level of schoolboy politics we see in Parliament, and we certainly cannot follow the American route of tribalism and polarisation. Now, I myself...
And yet we are.
Yeah, exactly. So how do we stop it? Well, I'm going to give you my example. So, as you know, when I stood for Parliament in 2005 as a Tory against Dennis Skinner, I respected Dennis Skinner. I told the Labour campaigners why I did respect him, great local MP. I sat with him on election night.
Right?
Sorry?
In Bolsover.
Yeah, in Bolsover. Yeah, and I sat with him on election night watching the results, and it was very, very good. And LBC actually provided the platform where I could engage directly with Keir Starmer, with Rich Reeves. I did challenge them on their policy on education, but in a respectful atmosphere, because I'm very angry with what Labour is going to do on education, but we can still have robust debate and be respectful. And Angela Rayner is very interesting because although she said something very daft yesterday about the state school, she presented on LBC last July.
She did,
and I rang in and I told her why I was voting for Rishi Sunak to be our leader and my intention to get into Parliament eventually. And she actually wished me luck, and she said, well, Hassan, I hope to see you on the green benches opposite me in due course. And I thought, wow, that was really good. That's the sort of camaraderie we need. Not just in Parliament, in politics, but within the population as well. You know, how do we deal with disagreement? So, for example, you mentioned Brexit, which unfortunately polarised people. That shouldn't have happened. Let's take abortion, which is a highly polarising issue. I am very much pro-life, but over the last 30 years, I've engaged positively and respectfully with feminists without any fallout. So it can happen. You can actually have mutual respect. And you may also remember the Race Commission report that came out 2 years ago.
The Tony Sewell one?
The Tony Sewell, yes. And there was a lot of controversy about it.
Huge amounts.
And I wrote a book in support of the report, and I think I sent you a copy of my book, inviting the critics to dialogue and debate, in an atmosphere of respect. So it can happen, but that is my example. I don't just challenge people on the left side of politics. I challenge people on the right side, on my end of the politics. So, for example, we've had a lot of anti-vaxxers who are on the right.
Can I ask you a question? Sure. Do you think that there still remains, or was there ever, let me rephrase this, was there ever a kind of agreed rules of engagement in terms of public discourse? And I mean members of the public and politicians. Did that ever exist? And can you, in your own mind, pinpoint a time where that started becoming eroded significantly? And who was responsible for that, if that's the case?
That's a very difficult question, because I started to engage in politics since 1992 when I first voted. I was 18 then, and I became actively involved in 1995 onwards.
Well, this is why I'm asking you, because you've been involved for such a long time.
Yeah, exactly. I think during John Major's time and Tony Blair, things were okay, things were civilised, and we saw a lot of cooperation, actually, during the Gulf War. You may remember, under Prime Minister Major and when Neil Kinnock was leader. There was complete cooperation and no sort of yaboo schoolboy politics. And I thought to myself at the time, why don't we just continue with that mutual respect? So it's hard to pinpoint exactly, but certainly after Brexit, I'd say Brexit was a key milestone where things started to degrade. Although I'm a very strong Tory, I did vote for Remain, and had some very interesting debates with fellow Tories. So pinpointing a time is difficult, but Brexit certainly was the catalyst. But the solution is, you mentioned about a solutions-based approach. So my solution is two things. Number one, listen intently to the other side, not so they can prove them wrong, but because I could change my opinion, be open to changing your own opinion. And number two, absolute mutual respect. Those are the two things.
But is there a line? Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. When the war with Ukraine broke out, I came across people who were vehemently defending Putin and his position, basically saying he's not a bad guy. Oh, is it really an illegal war? And what we've now seen subsequently is that there is now an arrest warrant out for him in relation to war crimes. And for me, that was a red line. When I came across people who were actively defending him and his invasion of Ukraine, for me, Hassan, that was a red line. I just thought, are you delusional?
Yes, I mean, there is. There's room for disagreement. There are some people who may be pro Putin, but I understand there is a red line when a decision has been made that an arrest warrant has gone out. I mean, there will be two sides to every argument here, but I think Ukraine is probably on the right side of the whole thing.
Hassan, I've got to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for that, Hassan in Berkshire.